Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for being here with us. We'll wait a couple of minutes and we'll begin the session. As you can see, some more attendees are joining in. Hello, everyone. Once again, good morning or good afternoon as per your respective time zone. On behalf of EBSIS Managed Services team, we'd like to welcome you all to 2020 Benefits and Compensation Advisory webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarterly release, which Oracle provides to us. My name is Hardik Patel, and I'm an operations manager here at EBSIS Managed Services Department. Today, I'm your host for this session. I'm glad to introduce my colleague, Sachi Desai, who is part of our vast HCM team at EBSIS. Today, she will take us through all the benefits and compensation updates for training and quarterly release. Today's session is planned for around 60 minutes, and we'll make sure that we'll also leave some time to answer all your questions you may have. So let's move to our agenda for today. We'd like to convey your approach towards the Oracle updates in a very simple method. We'll be taking you through vital analysis for the 2020 updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporate new features and updates easily into your system. We'll also sync you on any bugs or known issues at your end. And then we'll take it to the closing and Q&A part. It's good to have an interactive session, so please do ask your questions through chat or question panel. We'll be happy to answer them at the end of the session. In case we run out of time, or if there are difficult questions, we'll be also happy to connect you later today through an email, or if you need a one-to-one session on anything, we'll be also arranging that along with our experts. This is to give you a glimpse on how we have crafted the structure of this session. So first thing is list of new features coming into 2020, detailing on features so you get brief understanding on what new features are all about. And next one is what are business benefits and important takeaways for you as a decision maker. And there are four components where we have done in-depth analysis of features which are going to be presented to you today. First one is impact level analysis, which demonstrates the impact on the user. If it's low impact, then regression testing can be avoided. If it's a high impact, then you must opt for regression testing. The second one, which we all are aware that there are some features which are auto-enabled by default and by Oracle, and some which we need to opt for. And third one highlights the nature of the feature. There would be certain configurations which may be required, or some can be used without any changes. And the last one, which is a quick way, this term we use to simply convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and effort to make use of this feature. So with this, I'll be handing over to my colleague, Sachi, and she'll be taking you through the entire plate of today's session. Thank you. Over to you, Sachi.
Yes, thank you, Hardik, for the introduction. Hello and welcome everyone once again. My name is Sachi Desai, and I'll be walking you through all the new features that we have in the 21D upgrade for our benefits and compensation module. So, to begin with, we have set up a dashboard for a total of 25 features for the compensation and benefits module, which are being introduced and which are being introduced in 21D. So out of these 25, 15 are quick wins, and the rest 10 are classified as the rest category. So the quick wins here require zero to no configuration at all to enable the feature. And the opt-in features here, they require a significant amount of time and testing to configure. In this webinar, our highlight would be the quick wins here. So let's begin. For the very first section that we have here is for the quick wins with default no configuration. The very first feature that we have here is change hire date. So this feature prevents you from changing the start date of an employee's work relationship. So for example, if a person is hired on January 1st, 2022, and the same employee enrolls in their benefits on the same day, which is January 1st. Now, the benefit admin processes their benefits on, say, January 3rd. But then the situation occurs where the admin has to change their work relationship date to, say, January 7th. So, in doing this, they won't be able to change the work relationship date, but if they want to, they have to disenroll the employee first from their benefits, and only after that they would be able to change the work relationship date. Now, this enhancement prevents data corruption and saves time spent on resolving the same, which is a big win for us here. The next feature we have here is track participants' action in self-service benefits. So previously, you could only check if the person has viewed their enrollments or not through the authorization pages accept or deny button, and we can track that by OTBI or BIP reports from backend. But with this new feature, it would help you to track if the participants have already viewed their enrollments without making any changes. This feature also helps you to track the page views, button or link clicks by the participant for certain actions. Say, for example, if when they click on the Make Changes button or the Start Enrollment button, or when they click on any plan selection, when they click on the Continue button on the same page, and when they click on the Submit button for their enrollments. So when this action happens, the admin would see a screen something like this, where they would be able to track all of these features, all the clicks that the employee has done, and it would look something like this from this screenshot. Now, this is a quick win for all the administrator and other benefit professionals to answer participant queries and address the benefit enrollment challenges during open enrollments. Moving on to the next one, for remove incorrect data using the delete person benefit diagnostics. Now, this feature enables you to remove incorrect data for a person in a non-production environment. Before this update, there was no way to correct the corrupt data in a non-production environment. But with this new feature, a two-step process helps you to remove incorrect data and ensure a smooth implementation. So if I zoom in here, I'll show you the process to follow this. To run this diagnostic report, the very first step is to run it in a validation mode with all the necessary details as shown here in the screenshot. So you enter the person number, but you run it in commit as no mode first and delete the benefit relationship as no. When you run this process, a authorization key would be generated, which would be useful in our second step. In the second step, you have to run the same diagnostic report, but in the commit mode as yes. And you also have to enter the authorization key details, the number that you have noted down previously here. And this number would help you delete all the open enrollment data for the employees or the person. Also, please note that you can run this report in production environment only on the validation mode to view a person's data. So without the authorization key anyway, you won't be able to run it in the commit mode because this feature is not in production, because then this might lead you to accidentally delete the employee's data from the production environment. And the quick win here for us is it enables you to remove incorrect data from the non-production environment before you move those changes to the production environment, which is a big win. For our next feature here, which says additional parameters in Design Studio. So while configuring rules for say change salary and salary history actions in Transaction Design Studio, before this upgrade, we only had parameters like legal entity, BU, or role to select from. This new feature enables you to use additional parameters like country, action, and worker type. So for the actions like change salary, the additional parameters you get here, as I just discussed, are country, action, and worker type. And for another action, which is salary history, compensation information, and my compensation, you get additional parameters called country and worker type. This quick win gives you additional flexibility when you define a rule. The next feature we have here is enhancement to download salaries. So on the download salaries task, we have a few new features added while uploading salary changes. So the the first new feature which I want to discuss here while loading change salaries is if there is any pending approval for the change salary standalone task or through a global HR action, it would throw an error on this page itself, which would look something like this. This error would say you cannot propose another salary change because the transaction with a salary change is pending for this approval. So previously, when a salary change was pending approval and download salaries created a salary record, the transaction would error after the final approval. But with this feature, you would get error on this page itself. Now, another new feature on this page is we can now see this additional context added like assignment number, location, compensation zone type, and compensation zone as seen in the screenshot here. And the enhanced user experience on this page is a quick win for the user. The next feature we have here is defaulting when date in change salary flow introduction. So with this new feature, we can now default the when date in the salary change responsive UI page from my team and my client group area using a profile option. So this is the profile option from which we can enable or disable this default option. So if you make it mandatory, the person making the change on this page would see this field as blank here and enter in the correct date instead of a default date already populated in this box. So for example, in the previous changes before 21D upgrades, it a default date which is today's date would already have been populated here, and that would result in the admin automatically clicking on continue and not checking this date. But for from the 21D upgrade, now the person will see that this field is blank and it is a required field. So now they would enter in a specific date, a correct date, and then submit the transaction. So the data accuracy here is a quick win for us. Moving on to the next one, warn when later salary exists. Now, this new feature warns the user about a future dated salary record when trying to change the salary date. So, for example, if the new salary start date is already entered in the system, say December 1, 2021, and if you propose a new salary change date as November 1, which is 1 month prior to December 1, okay? And so you will get a warning like this as on the screenshot. I'll just zoom in a bit like this one, that your salary change is valid till the next salary only, which in our case is December 1. This also suggests that we would have to revise the salary on December 1, 2021 again. And the quick win here for us is we can see a warning when salary record already exists for a proposed future dated salary change. The next feature we have here is salary not defaulted to zero. So in the previous upgrades, while entering the salary amount for a salary basis, the default value in the box was 0.00. So for example, if I am entering a amount of 9,000 as salary, then it would return me a amount say 90,000 because of the default zero which is already present. But with this new feature, the salary amount won't default to zero so that we can explicitly specify a value. Now, this feature is enabled for all the flows, including hire an employee, add pending worker, add contingent worker, add assignment, and add work relationship. This is a quick win for us as it ensures data accuracy. For the next one, individual compensation plays synchronized with projected start date. So for this feature, uh, you can now synchronize the payment start and end dates of individual compensation with start date of pending worker, and you can set the payment start and end dates of the individual compensation plans to projected hire start or submission date. So I have an example here from which I can showcase this new feature. So I have three scenarios here. Okay, the the plan 1, it says the start date is the projected start date. So now my original start date would be January 1 and my planned start date would be January 1 too. But if I revise the start date to March 1, 2022, my final adjusted planned start date would be March 1, 2022 again. Now, the plan 2 says the start date is 1 month after the projected start date, which is the original start date as January 1st, and the original planned start date would be February 1, which is 1 month after January 1. And if I revise the start date as March 1, then the adjusted planned start date would be April 1 for me. For the plan 3, the start date is the projected start date, but you can override the date. So in this example, if I keep the original start date as January 1 and I override it to say April 1st, 2022, right? So my revised start date, if I still make it to March 1, but it would the adjusted plan start date would still show as April 1 and not March 1 because I have overridden the date here as April 1. Also, please note that this overridden dates are unadjustable. Also, in this screenshot, I'll just zoom in. Now, this screenshot is the example of a pending worker with two automatically set plan dates and the manually overridden date, which is seen here as set automatically here. Now, this feature improves productivity by letting you adjust the start date as needed throughout the pending worker cycle, and plan payment dates automatically adjust to match. This is which is a big win for us. Now, for the next feature, for salary adjustment type determines FTE proration when salary comes from salary amount is determined by user. So for this new feature, this new feature changes the way FT adjustment work in change working hours actions. So when a salary comes from progression grade ladder and if the salary is determined by the user. So previously for this, the salary was always prorated for the FT when you change the working hours without also changing the grade or step. Now, oh, now in this feature, a change working hour action would use the salary adjustment type, which is shown here as in the screenshot. So the salary adjustment type here is shown on the progression grade ladder to determine whether the amount should be prorated if the salary amount is determined by the user. This enhancement applies to the change working hour action as well as the any other HR action where you can change the working hours without changing the grade or step. So the example here which is shown, in this example, the person's working hours are changed from 0.5 to 0.75, which is visible here. And the proposed salary is still the same. As you can see, current salary is 1800 and the proposed salary is still 1800 because the salary adjustment type field on the grade ladder is blank, and a blank value indicates that the salary won't be adjusted for the FT. Now, this enhancement improves salary adjustment accuracy when changing working hours, which is a big win for us. Moving on to the next one, for total compensation statement feedback. Now, with this feature, you can now obtain the greatest return of investment for your total compensation package by using total compensation statement feedback. So the whole process starts by configuring feedback on the statement definition period tab as shown in the screenshot here. The second step is to configure the ratings and survey questions as shown in the screenshot here. So you define all the ratings here and you define all the survey questions here, the list that we want to ask to the employee. And then we can print the statement as in the usual manner. So this is how the statement would look like with the ratings. So this is the summary rating. And if I want to go question wise, which is 1, 2, 3, then the screenshot indicates how it would look. It would show the person's name, person number, legal employer, and the answer which they have put in for a specific question. Also, please note that these feedbacks appear for online statements only, and they cannot be printed. So once any employee has completed the feedback, it can only be viewed by the compensation admins or their line managers. Also, this feature improves retention rates, lowered sick days, higher productivity, and helps streamline administration, which is a big win for us. Now, moving on to our next section, which is quick wins with default yes configuration. So the very first feature we have here for yes configuration is enable participants to change beneficiaries at any time. Now, with this new feature, the participants can make changes to the beneficiary details even if there are no start dates. So for example, if I want to change my primary or contingency beneficiary or their percentage allocation, I can make them without being an open life event assigned to me. And also, you please make a note that the adjustment to this percentage of allocation can only be made if you have added the beneficiary as contacts before the latest process life event date. This ensures 100% allocation for entire period of coverage. Now, the participants might see this following message when they open the change beneficiaries page after this update, because then they can make changes to their beneficiaries at any period in the year without any waiting for any open enrollment window. So the quick win here for us is that this feature saves time on the workarounds to change the beneficiaries outside of the open enrollment window. Moving on to the next one. For this feature says improved performance for the evaluation and reporting work area. So the evaluation and reporting work area will now display the summary data for last week instead of last month, as shown in the screenshot here. And also this would show 1 week by default instead of 1 month. But if you want to change, then you can change it to 1 month again. You can also configure which life event counts you wish to see by default. So the life event tab here now displays the smallest number of life events first. So if you see here, the for this name, the number of life events are only one, which are displayed here first. But if you want to configure the number of counts, you can do that using the profile option here, which is mentioned here. Now, this feature provides better user experience by loading the page faster, which is a big win for us. Now, moving on to the next section, which is quick wins with opt-in features. The feature we have here is journey support for individual compensation plan introductions. This feature enables you to assign journey stars when individual compensation plans are allocated to an employee. So, for example, if an employee subscribes to a voluntary deduction, a journey task should be triggered that would require HR specialists to generate a member ID, enable portal access, and issue a welcome kit. So we can configure all of these tasks in our checklist tasks with the event as individual compensation. So the big win for us here is this feature optimizes business processes by assigning tasks automatically when a certain event happens, which is a big win. So this was all from my end. Thank you so much everyone for listening. If you have, and also we cannot cover all the features that we have because of the time strain. But if you have any questions related to any of the features which I just discussed on the call, then you can shoot them on the questions Q&A section that we have, and we'll be happy to answer. Over to you, Hardik. Thank you all.
So thank you, Sachi, for the wonderful insights today. And so with that, we'll just before we move to Q&A, we'd just quickly like to know that which industry does your organization belongs to on this quick poll. This will help us crafting a better content, more fruitful content going forward. And please help us. And we have just one more poll wherein we would like to know your area of interest so that we can create more value-based content for the moving forward webinars. Whether it's your area of interest is on technology, chatbot, RPA, IoT, AI, or managed services, or value-based analytics, or data masking tools, or cloud transformation, please do let us know in your interest. And also, if you have any questions on any of these, you can also reach out to your dedicated project managers, or if you are not EvoSys client, if you're here in the webinar, you can also write to us on business@evosysglobal.com. And we'll immediately move to the Q&A session after taking this poll. So we'll be closing the poll now. Thank you very, very much. So anyone has any questions, please write to us in the question or chat panel, and we'll be happy to answer them. And just before you leave us, we'd like to tell you that we'll be sending you the task scripts along with the presentation and recording of this session, and along with the feedback form. Please do let us know how we did today, and yeah, it should be on your way in next week time. And do let us know if you have any other questions or feedback. Do let us know with that feedback form. And before you go, we'd like to also let you know that if you want to pass the message to your colleagues for all the upcoming webinars, we have today's supply chain and the other ones which are also coming in from the Agile Help Desk, ORC, Workforce Management. PPM session is also available this time, so they can also register themselves. And just the last but not the least, we'd like to hear from you that how we did today. Overall experience of today's session. This will help us serving you even better. I don't think we have any questions today, but if you do have at a later stage, please write to us with the help of project manager, and we'll be happy to take either one-to-one session or any other help required. We'll be happy to take that up. And again, we'll be definitely sending you this PPT along with the recording of this session as well. So again, thank you everybody, and thank you for the poll. We'll be closing the poll now, and we'll go to a thank you page. And thank you, really appreciate for your time for today's session.